Alrighty, let's take a look at question 7. In this example, we're going to be looking at how to build new functions from existing functions, basically looking at shifts of an original graph to generate another graph. Question 7 reads, the function f of x equals x squared minus 6x plus 9, and g of x is f of x plus k, our graph below. Which value of k would result in the graph of g of x? Okay, so we need to know where we're starting from, the original graph, and then the new graph or the new function. Okay, so the existing function that we have is f of x. So you have the labels here for the two functions, and the top function is f of x. This is right here. This is your existing function. All right. So with this existing function, we're going to create a new function by applying a translation to the original function. Okay, and that is that plus k component. Now we don't know what that plus k component is, but we're going to determine it by looking at what the difference is between the existing function and the new function. All right, so the easiest way to determine what the alteration is or the shift is by picking the vertex. While we're looking at the vertex here, or just a coordinate, since we're given parabolas, if we just focus on the vertex, it's extremely easy for us to see exactly what's going on. All right. So if you look at the vertex of the existing function, is right at this point right here is 0, 1, 2, 3. Is at 0, 3, 0. Okay. So vertex of new function, vertex of existing function, which is f of x, is 3, 0. All right. What is the vertex of the new function? Take a look at it. It's right here. So the vertex of the new function is g of x, right? The vertex of the new function g of x is 3, negative 2. So what happened from the existing function to generate the new function? There was a shift 2 units down. Okay, so if you shift f of x 2 units down, you get g of x. All right, so you shift 2 units down. All right, so which of these values that are given on here, option 1, 2, 3, will actually result in f of x becoming g of x? Is it 0, 2, negative 3, or negative 2? Well, in order to determine what the correct answer is, we need to look at the formula for shifts, for shifting functions vertically. Okay, so let's take a look at the formula. All right, so if you have f of x as the original or the existing function, and you add k, a positive number, that's going to cause the function to shift k units up. All right. Now, if you have f of x plus a negative k value, you can write it like this: f of x plus negative k, or if you simplify it into f of x minus k, guess what? When you subtract that constant from the original function, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to cause your function to shift k units down in the opposite direction. All right? So don't forget, when you add a constant to a function, it shifts it up vertically. If you subtract a constant from a function, it shifts it down. Subtracting is the same thing as adding a negative, adding the opposite of that value. All right? So in this particular case, it was a shift 2 units down. So this is the scenario that we're looking at right here. Bam, these two. All right, so in this particular case, since it's a downward shift, guess what? Our k value is going to be -2. All right, so the answer to this question is going to be option number 4. Let me show you exactly what it looks like. So f of x, the existing function, is x squared minus 6x plus 9. The new function g of x is f of x plus what? Plus -2. All right? If you simplify that, it's going to be equal to f of x minus 2. All right, so we're subtracting 2 from the original or the existing function. That's what causes it to shift downwards, right? And then it's going to basically be, what is it? X squared minus 6x plus 9. This entire thing, this was the original, minus 2. And that will result in the new function that is below. All right, so that's why the answer is option number 4, because it's -2 that was added on to the original function. All right, so here's a visual. I'm using Desmos to show you exactly what we're talking about, okay? So this is the original function f of x, which is x squared minus 6x plus 9, and then plus k, okay? K just represents that number that causes the graph to shift vertically up or down. Okay, remember the original formula is f of x. To get g of x, you have f of x plus k. All right, so now notice what's going to happen. K is 0, right? K is nothing. You're adding nothing. Now, what do you think will happen to this graph if k becomes negative? So I'm going to move k to the left. Notice what happens to the graph. When I move k to the left to negative, where is -1? Bam, -1. What do you notice happening with the graph? You see the graph shifts downwards by 1 unit. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger so you can see. And then if I make it -2, just as we had in the original example, -2, you see it shifts downward 2 units from the original position that it was. All right, so let's take it back to 0. Now, if we make k positive, let's say +1. If you add 1 to the original function, what do you think is going to happen? Well, let's see. If you shift k to +1, bam, the graph shifts up 1 unit. Okay, so that highlights what we talked about before. When you add a constant to a function, it shifts it up, and when you subtract a constant from a function, it shifts it down. Thanks so much for taking the time to watch this presentation. Don't forget to support our channel. Tons of support resources can be found on Mathgotserved.com or in the links in the description below. If you have any questions about this example or any algebra questions in general, put it in the comment section below and we'll be more than glad to support you. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.